We're going to walk through a series of problems together and work them out. So, the first thing they asked you to do was to show the activity in the allowance for uncollectible accounts. That's the contra account to accounts receivable, that account that reduces accounts receivable down to net realizable value. So we've got beginning balance. They want to know what makes it go up and what makes it go down to get down to the ending balance. This is the allowance account. So what makes it go up? Bad debt expense makes it go up. What makes it go down? When you write off an account. Now we have a new set of circumstances that they want us to consider. Maple Company provides for doubtful accounts expense or bad debt expense at the rate of 3% of credit sales. So that's a percent of sales method. The following data are available for the year. How much is this year's bad debt expense? Well, bad debt expense should be 3% of sales. What were sales? 3 million. So it should be 0.03 times 3. Get out your calculator. Put in your amounts. And bad debt expense for that year would be $90,000. What is the ending balance in the allowance account? Okay, so the beginning balance in the allowance account was $54,000. It would go up by the 90 that we just calculated, and down by the write-offs, which they gave us. And so get your calculator and you can calculate that ending balance. I get 84,000. Do you? All right. Based on aging of receivables. Oh, okay. They have determined that net realizable value of receivables to date is $760,000. Additional information is as follows. Solve for their bad debt expense. So this problem is a little bit different. They have given us the net realizable value, which is neither the balance in accounts receivable nor the balance in the allowance account. Let's do the balance sheet presentation and get a visual on this. Do we know what accounts receivable is? Yes, 880. So the allowance account, which is an unknown amount right now. But they did tell us that the net is 760. Okay. So since we know accounts receivable, top number, and we know the net, we can now solve for what the ending balance in the allowance must have been by taking the 880 and the 760, and the difference between the two must be that allowance account. So 120,000 must be the ending balance in the allowance for uncollectible. All right, so now can we solve for the bad debt expense? Well, bad debt expense, so in the allowance account, we want, let's see, the beginning allowance, 128,000, plus bad debt expense, which we don't know yet, minus write-offs, and that ending was 120, which we solved for already when they gave us the net realizable data. So we have the beginning and we have the ending, and we're looking for this bad debt expense, and they do give us the write-offs. They do tell us that write-offs during the period were 88,000. Okay, so what we need is to solve for that number. So what number there? The 88,000, of course, is going to be a minus. Some people like to put the brackets on it, which is fine. Or you can do the T account, in which case you can show that the 88 was a debit and the other numbers are credits. And you can solve for the bad debt expense. I get 80,000 in my calculator. I took the 88 plus the 120 and subtracted out the 128. Whatever calculation strategy, you can take 128 plus x minus 88 equal 120 and then solve for x. Whatever your technique is, once you get your amount, check it. You can check it to see if it's right. Take the 128, add it to the 80,000, subtract the 88, and see if you get 120. And if you don't, then you know to go back and study what you did and fix it.